We interrupt this program to bring you an important Wayfair message. Wayfair's got style tips for every home. This is Nicole Byer, helping you make those rooms flyer. Today's style tip: when it comes to making a statement, treat bold patterns like neutrals. Go wild! Like an untamed animal print area rug under a rustic farmhouse table from Wayfair.com. Ooh, fierce! This has been your Wayfair style tip to keep those interiors superior.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
This is VSiN PrimeTime. Live from the Circus Sportsbook in downtown Las Vegas on VSiN, the sports betting network.
Well, might have missed our opportunity. We'll see. Right now, the money line parlay that we've been monitoring has gone way up because the Boston Celtics have gone on a run here in the second quarter. 46-38 is the score midway through the second quarter, 5:43 to go. Live line right now sits at Celtics minus 10.5, and the money line is out to minus 850. That's Will Hill. I'm Tim Murray. We're with you for 3 more hours here on VSiN Primetime. Going to talk a little baseball with Jensen Lewis coming up in 15 minutes. Will, always looking forward to chopping it up with Jensen and getting his thoughts. As we mentioned, a lot of rain across the country today, so plenty of rain delays going on. The Atlanta Braves now up 4-0 on the Cincinnati Reds. Mentioned Shohei Ohtani going yard just a little while ago as the Dodgers have a 5-0 lead. You've got a couple of baseball plays late night. We will get to those as the show goes on, but as we sit here, once again, Celtics and Knicks, Game 1 underway. I was able to grab the Celtics minus 2.5 games at minus 125 before tip-off here tonight. And we've been waiting to see if we could attack a moneyline parlay from an in-game standpoint. But unfortunately for us, Will, the Celtics on a run, so they are not complying with our moneyline parlay request right now.
Yeah, and look, it's part of it. Sometimes if you have a number in mind, you're willing to hold out for that number, and sometimes that number is just not going to come. It's not going to manifest, and you pass. You don't have to swing at every pitch, so I think it was a good plan by you, and there's still plenty of time left as the Knicks miss another free throw. They have missed a ton of free throws here. You can pull up the stats in a second, but they have left a lot of points on the board here with these missed free throws. Some of them come from bad free throw shooters. Mitchell Robinson at the line now. He's not a good free throw shooter, so it's not like it's some fluke. But they've had some decent guys missing some free throws too. And look, when you're the underdog, really anytime, but especially when you're the underdog, is the Knicks miss again from the free throw line. You can't leave these points on the board. You just can't. Mitchell Robinson,
68% free throw shooter, so not great, but not terrible. Yeah. And he's been bad from the free throw line, as you alluded to. And just like that, the Celtics, I thought they were going to hit a three there. They come up short on a big 3-ball attempt. But Mitchell Robinson, 1 for 6 from the free throw line in this game. And right now, the Knicks are actually shooting the same from 3 as they are from the free throw line. They are 40% from 3 and 40% from the free throw line. 10-point lead right now for the Boston Celtics as a little outlet up ahead to Derek White gives them that 10-point advantage. But we are going to get a Mitchell Robinson made free throw here in just a moment. It does seem like a tactic. I don't know. I haven't had eyes on it the whole time, but it seems like a bit of a tactic here to make Mitchell Robinson go to the line. This could be, his 7th and 8th free throw attempt. He makes the first, he misses the second. So Mitchell Robinson now 2 of 8 from the free throw line.
Yeah, which is not a bad idea, but the only question is who's eating these fouls? Who's giving up these fouls?
Because Drew Holiday just fouled Mitchell Robinson there.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that was certainly intentional. He's not only fouling him, but he's jumping up and down. Basically, the ref's like, hey, look at me, I'm fouling him. So this is a tactic here by Mazzulla, and I think a pretty sharp one because you just play the percentages. That's not a bad play.
By the way, Joe Mazzulla has had a lot of success against the Knicks. 8-1 straight up against the Knicks and 6-2-1 against the numbers. So right now, 9-point lead for the Boston Celtics. And I just popping over to the props and just seeing what we've got here from an over-under standpoint. Jason Tatum out to 31.5, and I was curious if they would have him up. They do not. I was curious if looking at if we would get a Mitchell Robinson, is there going to be a point in time where Coach Tibbs needs to take him out of the game?
What's the point total for Mitchell Robinson? What's the live player prop? Because if he's going to keep shooting free throws, even if he's not, making all of them, if he's just going to keep getting the attempts here, I don't know if that's fully baked into the line. I'm not seeing.
Yeah, he's not currently listed right now. So
no,
not listed.
Probably flagged it for because it was such a unusual circumstance, and there are probably people, if you're watching this and these fouls were intentional, maybe people caught on early and started betting, or maybe they have eyes on it and the algorithm caught it or whatever.
By the way, the Knicks hit another three, so they're 5 of 12, Will, from three, 41.7%, and they're 7 of 17 from the free throw line, 41.2%, large part because of Mitchell Robinson, but they are shooting better from three than they are from the free throw line. 50-42 right now is the lead for the Boston Celtics as Drew Holiday gets a little bit of a putback there. So right now, live number looking at, let me just pop it up here real quickly as we are in the second quarter. The total right around where we were from close, right? 213.5 was the pre-flop total. Right now, 212.5 is where we sit from an in-game standpoint. And the point spread out to 11.5, money line minus 920. So that once again, that money line parlay that we keep mentioning, and I've got it kind of flagged over here, is now out to minus 294. I think the price will, after the first quarter, was, I want to say, minus 175 on it.
Yeah.
So that's
right.
Yeah. So we're at almost minus $3 right now on that one.
Take it or lay it right now with the current spread. Well, if you had to do one, what would you do?
I think I'd lay it. I think
I would too.
Yeah, like you talked about. We talked about this earlier. Maybe a little bit of regression coming. The Celtics they aren't ultra crisp tonight, and they still have that 8-point lead. So 3:27 to go, media timeout. Jason Tatum, by the way, 13 first quarter points, doesn't have any points here in the second quarter. And your sixth man of the year, Peyton Pritchard, 10 points so far off the bench. He's hit a couple of big threes. Derek White, one of the better three-point shooters in the NBA, 1 of 7 from three. How about this? The Celtics, who we know love to put up threes, are 5 for 21 from three. So, yeah, as you asked the question, take it or lay it, I think I'd rather lay it right now than take it with the Boston Celtics if they start hitting some threes.
Yeah, and sometimes, look, the idea is to put the ball through the hoop, but the attempts are almost as important as the makes. And the fact that you're able to get off 21 attempts, it signifies that Boston is getting what they want. And over the long haul, over the long sample size, if you're getting 21 3-point attempts, 4 minutes left in the half, you're going to get up a lot. You're going to make a lot. That, to me, spells trouble for the Knicks.
Yeah.
And it makes sense. I thought that was a thing going in where they can spread the Knicks out. They can bring Towns away from the basket. They can pick on Brunson. There's a lot of matchups, I think, in favor of Boston. There's a reason they swept them 4 in a row this season. They've won 9 out of 10 against them. I think that this is just a bad matchup for the Knicks.
All right, the towels are waving north of the border in Toronto as the Maple Leafs and Florida Panthers about to start their second-round series there. The Toronto Maple Leafs are a +1... call it 65 series underdog, and tonight they are a slight home dog around +110 looks to be the price. Taking a look at Circa and what we're seeing from an action standpoint, it looks like a little bit of late Florida money coming in, but no real big movement on this one and no real movement on the total. It sits at 5.5. By the way, the totals so far, I was thinking, Will, that overs have been cashing, and we talked about the brutal beat if you had the under in Colorado and Dallas on Saturday night. Over hits last night as well. So 2 Game 7s over the weekend. Both games go over the posted total. Do we start to see a little bit of tightening up here from a total standpoint? Because the over has hit in 29 of 46 playoff games so far on the ice.
This stuff has a way of normalizing, though, and even in itself outright, the books tend to adjust. Are you doing anything with this first period total? I know you like these first period unders, which is not a fun bet, I have to be honest. And sometimes the bets that are not fun are the best ones to make because that's why there's value. People want to bet the fun side, and there's value on the other side. But
oh man,
sweating these out is not a good time.
You talk about like a difference. I told the next time we have Steve Levy from ESPN on, I'm gonna give him some guff because I said I wanted a wink from him because we had him on the show on Saturday morning. I said I like first period under. He was like, yeah, I could see that, and it was scoreless, right? Dallas and Colorado after the first period, but I didn't see the wink on the intermission report. And then it's so funny, right? You hit a bet like that on Saturday night, and you feel like the smartest man in the world, and then what happens the next night? I go back to the well, and 2 goals are scored like 7 minutes in, and you feel like an absolute moron. So I did not play the first period under in this one as I guess I could. We get a little show sweat going. It is a fun little sprint when you look at those first period unders. The first period under, let me pull it up here real quickly if it hasn't gone off the board just yet. Right now,
still get it. -120.
-120. Should I do it?
Whatever. I'm going to do it. Yeah, fine.
I like Will's just said whatever. We'll do it. Let's see if I can pull it up here in a couple of.
I like Toronto too, and I don't look. Take it for what it's worth. I'm a very recreational hockey fan. I just get the feeling Toronto's being overlooked here. Do you have any feel for the game or the series?
I mean, I was looking at my guy Nick Alberga, and they're all kind of anticipating the worst here, but yeah, I'm kind of with you. All right, hold on. Let's get this bet in here. Let's get first period under -110. Bang. And all right, we're in. So we will sweat this bad boy out. They're about to get underway. Speaking of which, if you want to go over to VSiN.com and check out where folks are betting this hockey game tonight, you can get that as a VSiN Pro subscriber. Right now, you can check out what we've got to offer for as little as $9.99 for your first month. VSIN.com/subscribe. You can check out those betting splits right now. 45% of bets on the Panthers, but 81% of the money. This is for the puck line. As for the money line, 58% of the bets on the Florida Panthers. And goals are expected, according to the betting public, 79% of the bets on the Florida Panthers. That's Will Hill. I'm Tim Murray. 10-point lead right now for the Boston Celtics over the New York Knicks as that game has 2:45 to go in the second quarter. Let's talk a little baseball with our own Jensen Lewis. We'll do that next.
We interrupt this program to bring you an important Wayfair message. Wayfair's got style tips for every home. This is Styles McKenzie helping you make those rooms sing. Today's style tip. When it comes to making a statement, treat bold patterns like neutrals. Go wild, like an untamed animal print area rug under a rustic farmhouse table from Wayfair.com. Fierce. This has been your Wayfair style tip to keep those interiors superior.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
This is VSiN PrimeTime on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
All right, get the Old Spice out, Will. We got to sweat. 33 bleeping seconds into the game, as soon as we talk ourselves into, hey, let's do a little first period under. Why not? William Nylander scores against Sergei Bobrovsky, and it's 1-0 Maple Leafs right now. So, it's gonna be a sweat. We're gonna be perspiring here throughout this first period. Right now, your live total 6.5 juiced under for Maple Leafs Panthers, and the Maple Leafs -195 on the money line. So, great bet by us, Will. Maybe it will be. Still, just got 18 minutes and 15 seconds to go.
I let you peer pressure me. I blame you.
Yeah, I will take credit. That's tap the chest. My bad. Speaking of which, the Celtics are now up 16 on the Knicks. So you and I were asking, would you lay it or take it from an in-game standpoint? Well, we said we probably would lay it. And right now the live line is 15.5 as the Celtics are starting to run away from the New York Knicks at TD Garden in the closing seconds of the first half, 61-45. All right, let's head to our progressive guest line, a gentleman who you'll see bright and early in the morning with Dave Ross. Jensen Lewis, former big league reliever, joins us right now courtesy of our progressive guest line. And Jensen, a lot to get to here. We haven't gotten to Will's best bets, so I know a game that he is kind of targeting later on this evening is one that you've got your eyes on as well. We've got New York at Arizona. The Mets right now a slight dog, I beg your pardon, at Arizona. What are you looking at tonight in the desert?
Yeah, a little revenge angle, and great to be with you guys tonight. Tim, first and foremost, you think about where the Mets' home prowess was at Citi Field headed into that series just a week or so ago against the Diamondbacks, and Arizona took 2 of 3 there. So a little revenge angle here. And also, I think the Mets offense primed to really take advantage of Chase Field and the desert. I know that that total is at 10 right now, and it was originally supposed to be Corbin Burns getting the start, but it will be Ryan Nelson, who has actually been pretty serviceable for the Diamondbacks and pretty solid in spurts. But I do think this Mets offense takes advantage. I do like the run line. I believe I got it at plus $1.42. It's up to plus $1.45 at DraftKings. But Griffin Canning been very solid himself in being able to limit some damage and tiptoe around some trouble spots. So take a shot on the run line. A nice little plus money price there at minus 1.5 there for the New York Mets. So I think they get it done by multiple runs tonight.
Jensen, Mariners, A's. Bryce Miller is a guy who's got a reputation as a control master. The command has just not been there this year. Bunch of walks. Meanwhile, Severino, surface stats are okay, but a lot of luck in terms of leaving men on base. To me, I look at this and see an over. Plus, you got the fact that it's Sacramento. Do you have any feel for this game one way or another?
Yeah, I was actually, Will, kind of surprised that this number was just at 9, 8.5 in some spots. And I'm with you. I could understand exactly where you're going here. Every time I feel like, okay, maybe the pitching can finally get their act together, then all of a sudden it's 5-3 in the third inning. So it wouldn't shock me here. I do think we could see maybe some early runs. We had it on By the Books this morning with Grace Remington. Guys, the Mariners on the road lead the major leagues in run first inning statistics, 64% hit rate for them when they play road games this year. So something to look at if you want a bit of the instant gratification wager there. And also you mentioned Bryce Miller and just working his way back. For some control issues, having to deal with some back issues, but short favorite on the road. Mariners have been very solid offensively. I would anticipate that could continue again tonight.
Jensen Lewis joining us here, courtesy of our progressive guest line. Of course, catch him bright and early, 7 a.m. Eastern Time on VSiN every weekday with Dave Ross. You know, a team that we talk about a lot, and we talk about the NL West a lot, and you mentioned the 6-0 lead right now for the Dodgers. How about the San Diego Padres? They go to Pittsburgh over the weekend. They get the sweep. They've won, I believe, 5 in a row, dating back to a mini sweep of the Giants. So it's kind of the same question every time, but when you look at this NL West, which is as loaded as any division in baseball, what do you make of the Padres and their chances to maybe knock off the juggernaut that is the Dodgers in this division?
A great question. And Tim, honestly, the first thing that jumps out is that they may have the best bullpen in all of baseball right now. And that really allows you to win a lot of those close games and some of those that they've had. We know that you speak of juggernauts, they've been unbelievably good at home. Entering tonight, 11 games already over 500. Number one bullpen ERA, lowest whip as far as bullpen units go, and they have the lowest hits per 9 allowed. So anytime you're in that kind of echelon, very similar to what the Cleveland Guardians were last year from pillar to post. So I think for them, that's allowed them to stay in a lot of these close games and be able to win it late with that offense. I think that's probably the other part that you circle here is, boy, the offense has yet to really click on all cylinders. That's the scary part. Here they are, just a half game behind the Dodgers beginning play tonight. Very anxious to see what they do once everything really comes together, but certainly believe the Padres will be a force to be reckoned with.
Jensen, the other league, the American League, who's the favorite? I know the Yankees have Judge, etc., but it seems like they have a lot of flaws. Seattle's been surprisingly good. Texas been disappointing. Seems pretty wide open, seems pretty watered down. What are your thoughts in general on this league?
So I think we can kind of look at the division leaders right now. The Tigers, yeah, of course, we all expected Detroit to be out in front, right? None of us expected them to be this this hot, this quick, but it's a credit to where their offense has really taken a big step forward. Their pitching staff from last year to this year has really carried over quite nicely. I do feel the Yankees are here to stay. They will do what they have to do as far as acquisitions at the deadline, but I think there's enough staying power, even if they get tripped up here by the Red Sox, maybe even an upstart Blue Jays team that has actually pitched quite well. They just don't have any offense to speak of. I think if you're looking for maybe some value picks here, Will, I had picked, I know Dave and I had both picked the Royals to win the American League Central. I still think that they are heard from. You talk about an offense that has been really slumbering thus far. It has been Kansas City. So I think there is so much there potentially for them to have to break out. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the Guardians, just knowing that pitching wise, guys, I talked about earlier today, the statistics are mind-boggling when you look at how pedestrian or below average they've been pretty much in every category, yet they're just a couple of games behind Detroit for the top spot in the American League Central. I still have yet to be able to put my finger on it. If you're looking for dark horses, I think you stay in the American League East. I think you look at Toronto. I think you potentially look at Baltimore if they would ever do anything to help that rotation. Maybe Tampa Bay, but I just don't know where the offense comes from. So it comes back to your original point, Will. It is wide open. And I do believe you just kind of circle Detroit right now, the way they're pitching. I think the Mariners finally have the assets from an offensive standpoint to be there. So I think those top three teams with the Red Sox and, maybe the Astros are the one other team that has had the pedigree that could really make some moves here in the coming months.
Jensen, you mentioned the Orioles. All the Oriole fans in my life are very calm right now. They're not upset at all that Kyle Stowers is an all-star right now in Miami. He hits a walk-off grand slam off of Mason Miller. And the guy they acquired, didn't even make it to August last year. So they're very calm right now. They're not calling for the heads of everybody there in that front office. Hey, before we let you run, the AL West, remind me Will, you could really get a pretty good price on Houston, I remember last year, early on in the year, and they ultimately won that division. So what do you make of the AL West right now? Is it as wide open as the odds would indicate, where Seattle's a plus 105 favorite, Houston's at plus 230, and the Rangers sit at 3-1?
Yeah, it is one of those anomalies, right, where, and again, selfishly, I hope the Mariners do win. I picked them to win it. But I do feel that the Astros, they always have that ability to be able to make the moves. It'll be different this year, guys. The caveat, obviously, no Kyle Tucker or Alex Bregman to speak of, so they will need offensive reinforcements if they're going to contend. Texas is the anomaly for me. And if you want to hop in, I do feel that the Astros are probably the better price and the better team to hitch your wagon to. The Rangers, for whatever reason, guys, were just crushing it offensively out of spring training. They have had nothing to speak of from a consistency standpoint in that regard just yet. Yes, it's early, but man, that was a thing that you thought, okay, they could finally get back to what they were just a handful of years ago when they won the World Series. Shot in the dark, A's at 15-1. The pitching staff's been really good, guys. I mean, they have been really, really good. They have had this team within range in a lot of different games. Offensively, if they're there come the All-Star break, you might have to seriously consider looking at the Athletics, even in, Sacramento, the way they've been playing. So my recommendation in that division, I would look to Houston, but I'm loving where Seattle is out of the gates.
He's Jensen Lewis. Make sure to check him out every weekday morning with Dave Ross. Real quickly, Thunder dominate tonight?
I think so. I took them at 9. What are they up to? 10 and a half in some places. So I'm just hoping that Knicks and Celtics game stays under 213. So go ahead and blow them out, Boston. But let's keep it under in that fourth quarter.
Yeah, right now 211.5 is the in-game number for the total on Knicks and Celtics. 16-point lead for Boston at the break. Jensen, always appreciate it, man. Great stuff.
You got it, guys. Talk soon.
And we'll be listening early in the morning to Jensen and Dave. That's Will Hill. I'm Tim Murray. It is VSiN PrimeTime. Whew, we're sweating. 1-0 Maple Leafs. No more goals, please, in that first period north of the border.
This is VSiN PrimeTime on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
I'm going to mush the San Diego Padres, because at the time of chatting with Jensen Lewis, it was scoreless in the Bronx, and Trent Grisham just hit a 2-run homer for the Yankees. So 2-0 lead for the Yankees over the Padres. That one top of the fourth inning there in the Bronx. I believe that game started in a rain delay. So we've had a rain all across the country affecting start times. But top four in New York, 2-0 lead for the Yankees. Quick update. At the half, it's 61-45. Total is pretty much where it was pregame. As you look at where we are right now, 211.5 is the in-game total. So that would be, as I do quick math, which is not a strength, 105.5 would be the second half number there, at least at DraftKings, as we had 106 first half points. Celtics up big, 61-45. And once upon a time, they were a palatable money line price. Right now, minus 2,500 for the Boston Celtics to get the Game 1 victory.
Yeah, I mean, not much to add. Knicks have shot the three pretty well, and you're still down, 16 points? That's not a good omen for the Knicks. Now, you could say they've left points on the board in terms of the free throws. Yeah, that's true, but some of it's by design with the Celtics fouling poor free throw shooters. So I thought this was Celtics winning a short series coming in, and we're only 24 minutes into the series, but nothing I've seen in this 24 minutes makes me think differently. How about you?
Yeah, no doubt. And I was happy that while we've been waiting to try to get that money line parlay in, obviously now is not going to happen, at least with these two pieces, with the Nuggets, with the Thunder and the Celtics. But I did take the minus 2.5 series price before tip at minus 125. So I feel good at least there. So we'll see how this series goes on. But yeah, from the start, you mentioned it. It felt like a pretty bad matchup here for the New York Knicks. And it's just one game. We'll see how it all plays out. But a 16-point lead for the Boston Celtics at the break. In-game total, 211.5. In-game spread at 16.5 for the Boston Celtics against the New York Knicks. We'll jump inside the box score here in just a moment. But let's update the folks on the ice as I peer pressured Will into a first period play. And 33 seconds into the game, we started our sweat as William Nylander scored for Max Pacioretty and Jake McCabe. 1-0 Maple Leafs as Sergei Bobrovsky allowed that goal. And we still sit at 1-0, 9:49 to go. We did get the Maple Leafs to kill off a power play, so that's good. So 1-0 midway through the first period. You said it. It is not always the most enjoyable bet. And when someone scores 33 seconds in, it also doesn't make it feel great. Worth noting here, Will, first goal comes 33 seconds in. In-game total goes to 6.5, and now it's gone back down to 5.5. So there may have been a good opportunity out there from an in-game under bet of maybe a little bit of an overreaction to the first goal of the game being scored 33 seconds in.
Yeah, I mean, how did we get a goal 33 seconds in? Was this an empty netter? Did the Panthers forget to put a goalie in to start the game? How do we get a goal 30 seconds in? Come on, play a little defense here.
Sergei Bobrovsky, come on, buddy. Come on, man. We need that. We need it rolling here. So they're about to start the second half here in just a moment. They're in Boston. Kevin Harlan and Reggie Miller on the call there, 61-45. Still to come tonight, we'll get some more thoughts. We'll get some best bets as well on the other side of this break. But I do want to circle back to two things that Jensen Lewis just discussed as maybe that long shot bomb in the AL West, a division that looks wide open. And he said maybe the A's at 15-1 right now. That is the price. I bet you if you look around, you might be able to get a better price than that. But you and I will have sons around the same age, and a moment happened to me over the weekend, which was funny, but it was also led to a bit of a personal bad beat. So, my guy is playing coach pitch baseball. He's finally starting to get into it, and he goes up to me on Saturday. He's like, "Dad, can we watch a baseball game?" I'm like, "Absolutely, yes. Let's watch baseball." It was like early on in the day, so the only thing I could find was college baseball. So I threw on a college baseball game, and then he went outside, comes back in. "Dad, is there any Major League Baseball on?" I'm like, "Yeah, I think the A's are on." So this was right around post time of the Kentucky Derby. So Mason Miller comes in out of the bullpen to close it out for the A's against the Marlins, and they have a 2-run lead. And I'm like, look at this pitcher. He's awesome. He's maybe the best closer in the game. And Miller was a little bit erratic on Saturday. And as I'm looking at it, and in my family room, Will, there's only one TV. We don't have the double television setup in the living room. So I said, all right, A's are probably going to win this game. Let's turn on the Kentucky Derby. And I didn't find out until later that night that Kyle Stowers hit a walk-off grand slam off of Mason Miller, and I could only imagine the excitement my son would have had watching a walk-off grand slam. So a little bit of a bad beat by me from the clicker as I changed the channel on what ultimately would be a walk-off grand slam on Saturday there in Miami.
It's funny because I had a similar reaction where I was following the game, tracking the game, just looking at all the scores, and they were up, I think, 6-4 late, and I didn't have anything on it. But then I just found out maybe an hour or two later, somebody texted me, "Wow, walk-off grand slam, Miller." And he's reached that level, and it's a compliment to him. Where nobody's Mariano, but it's like, wow, that guy blew a save. That guy gave up a run, almost like and somebody was in the news today. Back when Justin Tucker was invincible, it was like, oh my God, Tucker missed a kick. He's reached that level. He's that good. And look, when you're throwing 104 miles an hour, you don't get touched up too often. But I had a very similar reaction.
Yeah, he was coming into his blown save on Saturday. He was 10 for 10 on saves. He'd given up 2 total runs in his 12 appearances, and I believe that was a homer. But he gives up 5 on Saturday, including that walk-off grand slam. So, yeah, what do you make of the AL West? It does seem wide open right now as we show you the graphic here. The A's have the second best record, but obviously the fourth best odds, and the only team, our dear friend JVT, that is out. Oh, boy. Oof. Oh, there it is. And over. I'm sorry.
What happened?
The Maple Leafs just scored. It's done.
Wow.
And so here's the thing. I should have listened to Will. He said, I think the Maple Leafs are getting a little undervalued. And
Hockey sharp
Will Hill. And instead, I convinced us to go a first period under. And wouldn't you know it, 2 goals here in the opening period. And there it is. Just 13 minutes in, we get the first period over. And it was Nylander again. His second goal of the game, a deflection from Sergei Bobrovsky. Couldn't get a clean save, and Nylander there to put it home. So the Toronto Maple Leafs now up 2-0. And we don't get the mojo. I'll just leave the in-game bets to you, I guess, here on VSiN Primetime, because instead of a 11-1 4-leg parlay cashing, I give out a big fat loser on first period under there with Maple Leafs and Panthers.
You know what? You really weren't going to bet it until I was like, "Oh, do you like it?" And then I was like, "Why not? We'll just do it for fun here." And it's not as fun when it loses, obviously. Boy, we should have just played Nylander to score 2+ goals in the first period. What would that payoff look like?
Oh man, imagine that. That would have been pretty nice. So 2 goals already home for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Let's take a look at where we sit from an in-game price right now. Minus 475 is the live line number for the Toronto Maple Leafs as they lead the Florida Panthers 2-0. And be curious if this one does go the Maple Leafs' way, what the series price will look like, because remember, the Florida Panthers coming into tonight were around a minus $1.80 favorite to win this series. Right. And look, it's hockey. Obviously, we know it ebbs and flows, but I would imagine Toronto will go to the favorite if they hold on to win this series. They lead 2-0 right now. 6 minutes to go. William Nylander with 2 goals in this one already.
Did you like any of the series prices in terms of these NHL semis?
Look, I just keep staring at the Caps, and I feel like it's a sucker play. I was looking at ESPN.com, and I think like 16 of the 24 people selected the Capitals to win that series, and yet they're an underdog. So I keep staring at that one, and I know we were just talking to Jonathan Davis last hour, Will, and he felt like there was a little bit of value to be had on the Capitals. So I don't know. I think the Caps at plus money interest me, but I'm worried. I'm going into Admiral Akbar there, and it's a trap,
Yeah, I feel it should be a lot of fun. It should be a lot of fun. And look, there's so much randomness with hockey where, look, down 3-1 last night with Winnipeg, you get a couple goals late. It's bound to the puck sometimes. So these plus prices look intriguing. Yeah,
there's no doubt. I mean, last night, anyone who had a Blues ticket, Blues series price, buddy, 3-1, goalies pulled, and game winner, game tire scored with 2 seconds to go. Hey, folks, if you want to bet smarter, not louder, check out the Sharp Plays at sharpplays.com. It's where the real bettors go to get ahead. Since 2011, has been locked in with what the real pros are betting, elite groups, sharp money, and the kind that actually moves the market. So when Sharp Plays jumps on a side, the line reacts every time. Head on over to sharpplays.com. Once again, that's sharpplays.com. 15-point lead for the Boston Celtics right now. 7 and change to go in the third quarter. The Maple Leafs up 2-0 and massive favorites over the Panthers with 5:40 to go. We'll get to some best bets on the diamond next. It is VSiN Primetime.
This is VSiN Primetime on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Here comes the tarp at Yankee Stadium. Will, during the break, was telling me, how are they even playing this game? And as soon as you said that, the home plate umpire stepped out and said, all right, let's call on the tarp here. Yankees lead 2-0 on the Padres. They have 2 men on and 2 out in the bottom of the fourth inning, and it is absolutely dumping buckets at Yankee Stadium. And here comes the tarp at Yankee Stadium. So 2-0 the score there. By the way, another goal has been scored in Toronto. This time the Florida Panthers, so that deficit now 2-1, and your live line down to Maple Leafs -180. Could have got the Panthers, Will, at around +3, I think 70-ish, not too long ago. And the Florida Panthers on the board 2-1, and your live total is now 7.5, heavily juiced under, but that is a big old total right now in Toronto.
Yeah, and as it was pouring, I tried to get in a live parlay on both starting pitchers in this Yankee Padre game, under strikeouts, really under hits, under anything, with the thinking that, you know what, if they go to a rain delay here, who knows if they come back, and then you get a cheap winner, but everything is grayed out. But keep that in mind when you're seeing weather become an issue. Just go to those unders with the pitchers, because if you get a lengthy delay and they resume the game, the starters come out and you can get sneak in a nice little win that way.
The Toronto Maple Leafs respond with a goal just less than a minute later. Wow. So 3-1, the Maple Leafs get on the board after Seth Jones made it 2-1. So, it's funny. I mean, we all wish we could see the future, because just a little while ago, Toronto was sitting there at -180, and as soon as we look up, another goal is scored by the Toronto Maple Leafs to make it a 3-1 lead. And I think that goal came, I want to say, 30 seconds later. So Sergei Bobrovsky not having a vintage night here. He's allowed 3 goals on just 9 shots so far. And, Will, you could have got plus money a little while ago on over 7.5. Now it is over 8.5 goals, as we have seen 4 goals in this first period. Toronto up 3-1 on the Florida Panthers.
Yeah, and what would over 3.5 first period goals have paid? This has been quite the start to this game. I'm sure they're going crazy in Toronto. Yeah, I don't have the sound on, but I'm sure it's nuts.
Yeah, a little bit better than our under 1.5. So we saw a goal 33 seconds in, and maybe that was a foreshadowing of what was to come, as we have now seen 4 goals. Morgan Riley, the latest. William Nylander, by the way, 2 goals and an assist. He had the assist on that Riley goal. So 3-1 Maple Leafs with the lead. Goals from Nylander and Riley. Seth Jones a moment ago on the power play for the Florida Panthers. Minute 56 to go in the first period. 3-1 the Maple Leafs lead, and they are -$5 favorites right now on the live line. A little bit of fight here from the New York Knicks. It's not done yet. 75-62. Free throws coming here. Is this going to be Mitchell Robinson again? They put in Mitchell. Man, they are going after Mitchell Robinson, and he missed again. Wow. It has been
it's a hell of a strategy. It's an interesting strategy by Missoula, and they're obviously, there's some thought behind it, and I like it. But I'm a little bit surprised you don't wait until maybe later in the series to dust this one off, because this is quite the strategy here, and it's big for the total too, because you're stopping the clock, and even if he makes one, basically no time's coming off the clock. You're putting a point on the board, so keep that in mind here for the totals going forward. If this is going to be a strategy, a regular strategy, then that's going to really boost the amount of points that are scored.
Total now down to 207.5. We had Jensen on, Jensen Lewis, earlier in the hour, and he gave out this morning the under in Celtics and Knicks. That thing closed around 213.5, so your live total right now sits at 207.5. 3:39 to go in the third quarter. We've got a media timeout. Celtics lead by 11, 75-64. Live line in Boston sits at 12.5. And right now, how about this? Jason Tatum, if you saw his first quarter, Will, you probably thought you were feeling good about his prop tonight. He has not scored since the first quarter. He has 13 points, but he has not scored since. I did hear a popular prop angle was Derek White over his threes, and that did come home. So he's hit 4 threes, has Derek White. He's 4 of 12 from long range. He actually leads the Celtics with 16 points tonight, and leading the way for the Knicks is actually OG Anunoby. Jalen Brunson struggling right now, 11 points in this one. And you had mentioned it, prior to the start of this game, Will, that you felt like Jalen Brunson is going to have a pretty tough time going up, the likes of Drew Holiday and Derek White as maybe his main defender. And right now, just 3 of 10 from the field for Jalen Brunson and 11 points.
Yeah, a lot of good defenders that Boston has to throw at Brunson, and a lot of options offensively. They have to attack Brunson, a lot of options to bring Towns away from the basket. A bad matchup for the Knicks, but give them credit, they're fighting back. If nothing else, I don't think either of us think they're in any threat to win this game, but with the spread around 9, they're within cover margin at least.
They definitely are. 12.5 is where we are. Speaking of covers, let's get to our best bets for tonight. Still to come. I know you will have a couple of plays that you're looking at from a baseball standpoint. 2 games still to get underway tonight. In baseball, we've got the Arizona Diamondbacks hosting the New York Mets and the A's hosting the Seattle Mariners. As always, our best bets brought to you by our friends over at G-Bank. So what do you got on the baseball card late night?
I like the Mets. I like the plus money here. I think Canning's been pretty good. The Mets and Stearns, the GM, have a reputation here of being able to get the most out of their pitchers, and Canning's got good numbers. Different pitches he's throwing. He's gotten some strikeouts here. So I think this Mets team is really good. I know they lost a couple games to St. Louis here, but Nelson I don't think is anything special going for Arizona, although his expected stuff is better than his surface stuff. The Mets have gotten all this production, all of this success here the first month plus of the season. That's without Soto getting going. Soto, who was robbed of a homer yesterday, maybe that's a sign that he's starting to swing the bat better. Soto's one of the last guys I'd ever worry about. So give me the Mets with the plus money. And I like the over here. There's some 8.5. There's some 9. Seattle and Sacramento. The A's, I just think Miller's been really shaking. He's a guy I've liked backing in the past. He's been a really a control artist. His command, his control have not been good this season at all. And Severino has really been fortunate in terms of balls in play, left on base. His surface stats are very concerning. Plus, you throw in that small ballpark. And a Seattle team that has a reputation of all pitching, no hitting. They've actually hit the ball pretty well here this season. And Oakland is an underrated team here. I think they've got some good bats too. So over Seattle and the A's, and then the Mets on the money line. What else are you adding, if anything?
So prior to the start of the Celtics game, we gave it out Celtics minus 2.5 in the series. Look, I keep looking at the Thunder. I know I'm not getting the best of the number, but we'll talk more about this coming up top of the hour. But I think looking at the Thunder here, I don't know if you want to go first half, full game. I'm curious how this Nuggets team comes out coming off of a Game 7 on Sunday. So I think that's a game I'll probably talk myself into a bet. Maybe we could work out some different angles top of the hour, but I think that's going to be an angle for me ultimately to unload on here. By the way, the first period in the books, the under did not cash. Just for those of you keeping track at home, 4 goals in the first period, as right now the Maple Leafs lead 3-1 after one period of hockey there north of the border. Hey, folks, just a reminder, get the G-Bank Visa Signature Card today. Most credit cards treat sportsbook and gaming transactions as cash advances. That's even when you put your own money on the card. GBank treats gaming transactions as purchases, so you're saving up to 3 to 5% on cash advance fees on gaming transactions right there. Also with GBank, you're earning 1% cashback rewards on all eligible sportsbook and gaming transactions and 2% cashback rewards on all eligible purchases. So apply now. VSiN.com/GBank, VSIN.com/GBank. Well, I'll tell you this. The Knicks are not dying. They're not rolling over yet. 81-70. So, as you pointed out, probably not going to get home from a win standpoint. But the Knicks, when you look at this cover opportunity, they're hanging around. 210.5 is where we are for a total. And with 126 to go in the third quarter, Will, it is an 81-70 lead for the Boston Celtics. So the Knicks have actually outscored the Celtics here in this third quarter, 25-20 to this point. And they're going to hit a 3 here in just a moment. So they're going to cut the deficit down to 8. So the Knicks showing a little bit of life there at TD Garden. You know, I want to talk more about this on the other side, and we'll see what the price is, because I know you've always talked about when teams kind of make that last run, that might be the time to bet against them. So maybe that is the time. We'll take a look at what the point spread is on the other side of the break. That's Will Hill. I'm Tim Murray. Celtics up 81-73, closing seconds of the third quarter. Knicks making a little bit of a run. It is VSiN Primetime.